Today I'm going to be painting a skeleton man priest thing. Don't really know what it is. It's got a skull for a head, but then it's got flesh on its hands and feet, so I don't know. I'm going to be painting it with some of these paints, and probably this colour and maybe this one too. And I'll have more information down in the description in terms of actual details. I'm going to have kind of earthy tones for this one, so we're going to have greens that are going to shade down to a brown in the recesses for the kind of cloak, and we're going to have this brown cowl, is it called? I don't know. It's like the hood thing that goes at the top. And then I'm mixing in a bit of blue with the black just to cool that down and to not have it quite so dark, as I want this to be a fairly light miniature, because I don't know if I'll necessarily treat this as a monster person. So maybe being a bit lighter tone will help with that effect. I'm going to put that into the deepest part of the miniature, down in between the cloak and around his hair and beard and that sort of thing, just to kind of tie it all together. Also, the brown of the hood I'm going to put into the belt and the details along the body. As you can see, I've primed the miniature with kind of a zenithal prime, and so I'm doing a single base coat here. Even if it is a bit transparent, it will have some of that light and shade effect within it, so it kind of cheats and skips a step in terms of getting the lights and the darks in the right places. Given the particular style of this miniature, I'm going to do a wash over all of the clothing. If it leaves a bit of a dirty look, then that is not a problem. I'm doing a wash with a brown ink, and I'm again mixing a bit of blue into this just to cool that down and tie it in with the almost black that we've got painted on the miniature as well. And I'm slapping that on everything that isn't skin or bone or whatever this thing has. As for the highlighting along the green cloak, I am highlighting back to the same or original base tone green because it's darkened down after the wash. And I'm adding a bit of yellow after that just to lighten it up a little bit and also change the hue slightly to make it slightly more interesting. I'm obviously considering the larger areas first, so I will highlight the entire bit that I want to be lighter with the green, but then when I start adding the yellow I will consider more precise and smaller areas. But it's certainly a key thing to do is to consider the shape as a whole when you first start highlighting and not get bogged down into the details. And then here is the part of painting this miniature that I and hopefully some of you can learn from. I made a terrible job of this kind of brown hood thing, and I think the reason is because I jumped straight from doing the smaller details of the green cloak to the hood. So I guess in my head I had this idea of already looking at the smaller areas, doing the finer details and using a much lighter colour than the base colour. And so looking back now at the end result that I have, the hood is definitely the worst bit of this miniature. And so what would I do differently? Well, I guess I would have taken a break after the cloak when I went to the hood, and I would have slowed down a little bit and again considered the big shapes, highlighted slowly working up to a new paint colour, not quite as harshly as I did with this particular paint job. That said, the technique of going straight to a bright colour on the smaller details works absolutely fine because it is a small detail, so it just needs a little dab of highlight and it will make a big difference in terms of the contrast we have on it. As for the skin, well, I'm just going for this kind of very undead looking or incredibly pale, never sees the sun, works in the crypts. So we're kind of just highlighting as close to white as possible. If you get to this stage and you're not sure what to do with your miniature, but you can tell that it's not kind of all tying together, quite often that's because you've not done the base. At least that's the case for me. I often forget the base, so painting the base can kind of tie and help show you that the miniature is finished or close to finish. And after doing a few of the smaller details like the tankard and the eyes and things like that, this is our end result. So this has been a pretty quick paint job, just to get me back into it because I've not been painting for a little while. Didn't pick anything too complicated, but something that should be fairly fun, and like I say, I can just get done nice and quick. And the end result is definitely tabletop worthy. There are some bits of the miniature that I like, there are some bits that I don't, like the hood is definitely the worst bit. I wish I had a bit more contrast on the cloak, so it is highlighted I think quite nicely, and the areas that I've picked to highlight work, but there's just not a big enough difference. So when you look at it at a distance, all you kind of see is it's green. You don't really see any lighter, darker areas necessarily. But there we go, a quick rundown of how I painted Skeleton Priestman. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I am coming back because I've taken a little break. I really want to succeed at YouTube and it's very, very difficult to do. So I've actually run off and I've tried a few different things and nothing has taken off quite as much as miniature painting. Miniature painting is still something I really enjoy doing and I want to get better. So screw all of the other things. Let's come back to this. Let's focus on this. Miniature painting, here we come. YouTube, here we go. Please like and subscribe and all of those things. It really does help. That's why people ask you to do it. It costs you nothing. If you want to support me, if you like the video, anything positive, even if you hated the video, leave me a comment about how you hated it because it helps. It really does. It's stupid, but it helps. If there's anything you want me to try out, I will do literally anything to get some views and likes. So leave a comment and I will do it. Until next time though, that's me out. Bye!